This is a Headgum original.
Oh my God, yes. It is going down. People of Earth, I am Yassir Lester, and he is...
I'm Isaiah Lester.
And we are here as your host for a brand new podcast called History of Heat, powered by StockX, where we will be covering all of the major cultural tentpoles that we ourselves, that you listeners at home, have been thinking about, have been interacting with, and hopefully have been purchasing. Much like me and Isaiah, we are sneakerheads. We are collectible heads. We are watch heads. We are...
Art heads?
Art heads. Whoa.
Art heads.
Are we video game heads, Isaiah?
Yeah.
Who's the bigger video game head?
I play more than you do.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not like in a Call of Duty way. It's like, I want to pretend to be LeBron James. That's my, I'm just pretending to be some athlete.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. This podcast is dealing specifically with the concept, the beliefs, the philosophies of heat, in each one of these cultural tentpoles that we just mentioned. What is heat, Isaiah? How would you define heat?
Heat is, in a weird way, heat is what is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the things that are on the internet that people are just buying up, and the reasons why it happens. Like, this is crazy, but like Meghan Markle wore a mask that she bought on Amazon, and it's sold out everywhere for months, and like all of a sudden that little mask is heat. And the bigger question of this podcast is going to be like, what makes something heat?
Yeah.
Is it a design? Is it something somebody is wearing? Is it the accessibility to it?
Yeah.
Is that what heat is? I think it's a little bit of all that stuff, and every once in a while it's a perfect storm. But that's what heat is to me, man. It's just what is dope out there,
yeah,
and what you see that kind of transcends just a normal product.
Right. Like, can a bottle of bleach be heat?
I mean, something tells me if you threw a Supreme label on it, it would not. There'd be people in line on a Thursday, in Soho, wrapped out front, trying to buy that bleach. I would be one of those people. And I would be one of the oldest people in
yes.
line.
I'll say this. If Supreme made bleach, I feel like within 2 months, we would just see a lot of bleaching accidents online. Like, there would just be a lot of people being like, oh, my skin. Oh, my favorite shirt.
I should have taken a shot at this
oh,
bleach.
man, why'd I drink the Supreme bleach? Now, in this particular episode, we are going to be focusing on the concept of nostalgia. We're going to be talking to actor, writer, comedian, our best friend, Langston Kerman from projects like Insecure and The Boys. He has his own podcast called My Momma Told Me. We'll also be talking to, that's right, our other best friend, StockX senior economist, Jesse Einhorn, who is sitting right here next to us. And we're going to be trying to get to the bottom of how our memories of the past determine what's cool to us today. Now, nostalgia, I would say specifically through a StockX lens, has really transformed what it used to mean, right? Like, collecting things has always been around, but the accessibility to collecting things has not.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought I wasn't a big trading card guy.
Uh-huh.
And then I found out I could get them. And I was like, oh no, I'm a trading card guy. So, and it's just like random players. It's like, I want a Gary Sheffield card when he played with the Braves, and I could find it. And also, of course, nostalgia for me begins and ends with sneakers.
Yeah.
That's how it started. For me, honestly, when I think about an old sneaker that really got me into it, and the shoe I really, really, really wanted when I was like, 5th and 6th grade, and I would be walking down the hallway and there would be at least in Gwinnett County, Georgia, there would be a group of pretty young ladies also in the hallway, and the first thing they would do is look at your shoes. I don't know if you remember that, Yassir, but
of course I do. It ruined my life.
So, mine were a pair of Air Max More Up Tempos. The Chicago Bull colorway, the red with the kind of the black patent leather Air across wrapped around the shoe. And I was just like, man, if I had those, maybe people will like me. So that was the shoe for me that I was like, oh, I really like this thing. And then of course we lived in the era of Jordan.
Right.
And there are even dope Reeboks then and one. It was a lot more scattered than it is now. But it was, like you said, like you get a Slam magazine, and you see AI on the cover, and he's got his new Reeboks on, and you're like, man. I got to get them questions. I got a question. How can I afford these shoes? Because I
got a question. Why don't you rap for me right now, AI? Why don't you spit a little beautiful rap for me right now?
You know he would have.
Oh yeah, I don't know how much of it we could repeat on this podcast,
Not
but
a lot.
The first like heat pair of young shoes I had were Sean Kemp Kamikaze.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
But I think I was too young for me to understand how tight they were, and for other kids to realize how tight they were. And then it went to everything. Skateboarding, it was Nike Dunks. When I got my first pair of Jordan 12s.
That's such a great.
Yeah.
I mean, because for me, like when I think of a nostalgic pair of Jordans, like the first kind of, I think they were Space Jams probably, but after that, I was 12 crazy. I loved the 12s growing up.
Now, in terms of like being an adult and hitting that nostalgia, what has gotten its hooks in you as of late?
As of late, I got a pair of my Holy Grails for my birthday. And that was the Kobe Grinch. Which I've wanted since he wore them on Christmas. Me and you both diehard Laker fans, big Kobe Bryant fans. And ever since he had those shoes, I've wanted them. They were impossible to get, and then they weren't impossible to get. And I was like, I am getting them. Like I have to have these.
Mine actually were a delivery from you. Isaiah delivered me.
Wait, should we clear up? This is a new audience for us.
I know.
So we clear up what delivering what delivering is.
A delivery is when either you're going out of your way to get something and it's just not happening, or it's just a surprise coming from someone else. But it's a flex on the other person that you're gifting.
Yes.
Like, so Isaiah, this is the context in which someone can be delivered. My number one shoe of all time is the Royal Air Jordan 1. I love them. Black and blue. It's a perfect shoe. I never pulled the trigger on them. And then one day, out of the blue, Isaiah delivers me. He's just like, they just show up to my house. And I was like, dang it. This fool got me. I was actually mad. I was mad.
It's a one-up. It's a weird one-up.
Yeah.
And it's a way to get shoes for somebody that makes it fun for you, but not fun for them.
Right. Yeah. It's actually pretty brutal. So.
How do you feel when you see somebody half your age wearing them?
I'll say this. Kids are too rich now. It feels like every kid is rich. Am I tripping? Like, is every kid is rich? Every kid is rich.
Okay,
I just want to make sure. At least the ones I see.
Yeah.
It's really gotten to a point. This episode's special guest, very good friend of mine, truly one of the most, this is going to sound so pretentious, but one of my favorite comedians, one of the most remarkable minds in comedy today.
I don't know him at all, but
well, this will be the test if that intro was worth it. You seen him on The Boys, so you know he's handsome. Because he's also I don't know if he stayed shredded now in regular life, but you seen him on The Boys. You didn't? Oh, man. Head writer of Pause with Sam J on HBO. Has his own show coming to Peacock called Bust Down. And he has his own podcast called My Momma Told Me. Ladies, gentlemen, and every gender in between, make some noise for Langston Kerman.
Yeah.
Langston Kerman. Now, how you doing? How you doing, little partner, little Wody?
That was a weird transition from what felt like Woody in Toy Story into some New Orleans.
No. This is a show about the Bayou. I don't know if they told you, so we say Wody. What's another? I can't even think of another like New Orleans term right now. It's so sad.
Baby.
Baby. Oh yeah,
they call everybody baby.
Baby. Oh god,
they rob you and call you baby, and it's like, what is this feeling, sir?
All right, big old Lang, Lil Lang, biggest Lang. You're from Chicago, Illinois, correct?
I'm from fake Chicago. I'm from Oak Park, Illinois. I don't want to go on record and get a bunch of people saying mean things to me.
Oh, buddy. Now, man, I'm trying to think of, okay, how about this? In LA terms, what would an Oak Park be to an LA? Like if you had to, is it a Santa Monica? Is it a Beverly Hills?
Is it Sherman Oaks?
Yeah, it'd probably be something like Sherman Oaks, where it's like, nobody who's not from here is gonna give a fuck, but the people who are from here are really gonna care if you mess around and say I'm from LA, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
You literally cross a street in my neighborhood and you're in one of the worst neighborhoods in Chicago, but if you cross the other side, you're where Ernest Hemingway went to high school. And that's, that's where we're at.
So just to go on record, Langston is from Chicago, the bad part. Langston says,
went to Simeon High with Derrick Rose. Yeah, he was doing all that.
He was doing the Chief Keef stuff.
Yeah,
I'm the one who killed Benji. I did it.
Okay, here's the thing. Well, for two ignoramuses like us, we'll consider it Chicago. We're from Marietta, Georgia. Yeah. And like we're the same way. So it's like people like, you're from Atlanta. We're like, no. We do not want to be looped in with those mongrels.
Yeah, and it's like our aunt was in Ellenwood, which is a way worse. It's like where Lil Yachty's from.
Wow.
Yeah, but like it's where Silento, the watch me whip, watch me nay nay guy, murdered his cousin. Like he murdered his cousin on our aunt's and our mom's street, or it's where our mom used to live too.
And like our mom used to take us there just to check us. Like this could be your life, but look what I'm providing for you.
Yeah,
this was like you're scared straight.
But keep
except
in mind,
every weekend.
Yeah, every weekend. And also, it's not like we had an amazing life. That was the other thing. It's not like we were like rich and she was like, remember. It was like we were doing fine. Like, you know what I'm saying? She would buy like what were those things called? These particular icy popsicles. Oh, sorbet bars from a dollar store, and be like, you guys just don't know. No one else is getting sorbet bars. I'm like, well, if they have $1, they can get one.
Yeah.
This is dollar fruit in the middle. This ain't the best version of it.
Right. This ain't a plum. You know what I'm saying? This is some leftover pineapple chunks from a can of Dole.
Also, Mom, what is a plum? I'm desperate to find out.
Okay, you're saying a stone fruit, but I don't know relatively to any. Okay, anyway, so that's where we're from. We're from. We were the poor kids in a very good high school.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, but also by miles. We say all that. We digress. Now, as someone who came up in Chicago, where you were born and raised forever and ever and ever, you were born in the worst hospital. You grew up in a very particular time in sneaker history and I just in culture. You grew up in a Michael Jordan time. You grew up in, one of the biggest sneaker icons of all time, Oprah. You grew up in Oprah's time.
What is the thing that kind of got you into sneakers and just like heat in that kind of that kind of stuff? Was it a pair of Jordans? Was it a starter jacket? Like, what did you have your eye on when you were a kid that you're like, man, I really mess with this?
You know what's crazy is Jordans were so ubiquitous at the time, I think, and so just everywhere that it wasn't Jordans that really like broke me into sneakers. It was a pair of Dennis Rodmans that I was like, wait a minute, I could be the weird one in this crew. You know what I mean? Like everybody else is gonna get Jordans. That's just a fact. We'll all trick our moms into buying us $150 shoes, which God damn it, they used to be $150,
which is so crazy.
Like there were those Rodmans with the sun tattoo on them, the white joints that I like desperately wanted and got my dad to buy, and it was like, oh, after that, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna always get something fucking crazy and buy it and go that way.
So you were a Rodman head.
I loved Rodman. I read his biography as a kid.
Bad as I Wanna Be? Oh my God. One of the illest. Sorry, me and Zaya watched, I don't know if you remember, there was an ABC TV movie made about it.
I do remember that.
Yeah, narrated it, or like he did the interstitials. I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I love that you brought that up because it had fake Madonna in it, and they were having their whole like sordid affair.
That was amazing.
Scene. You can't forget the headbutting scene.
I loved it because they would always play the commercials. So there's 2 TV movies that were always playing. There was Dennis Rodman, Bad as I Want to Be, and of course Jackson's An American Dream.
Yes,
the story of Michael Jackson, everyone and his family.
Also, great headbutting scene. Oh
my God!
Great TV
oh my God! Langston.
Yeah,
fellas, it's the pilot. We gotta go in.
Yeah, very true. But they used to show the commercial for the Dennis Rodman movie, and it was just the guy who I need to find out who played him.
Right.
But it was the guy in the commercial dressed as Dennis Rodman screaming at his mom, and he was just going, "This is me." That's it. And he was like showing her that dolphin tattoo. And like, keep in mind now, like people literally have guns tattooed under their eyes, but he got a tattoo of a dolphin, and people were like,
"Yeah,
kill him."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I still remember, he married himself in the middle of he just was such an innovator when it came to weirdo shit in a way that took us years to make peace with, and also should make us feel ashamed that we were so mean.
Oh, absolutely.
What was otherwise pretty reasonable behavior for an adult man with that much money.
Yeah. He was like one of those people where it's like, he was like, I'm going to wear a wedding dress. And people are like, are you going to marry a dog next? And I was like, why
are we jumping to that?
Yeah. Why do you always jump to marrying your dog? Also, objectively, black people aren't going to be the people that marry dogs.
No.
And they always make it seem like, anyway, I digress.
We're not even kissing yet. We ain't married. We ain't ready to marry you.
Here's the thing that I think about a lot, where I'm like I think about animals a lot when I'm at a restaurant, because I'm like, how crazy would it be if you were walking through the woods and then you saw a bunch of wolves having like a wolf restaurant? Like they were just like communing and like eating a deer, but like fancifully, like not just like all just like manging on it, but like instead like very properly like barking.
It's coming out in courses. It's like going to a naka. Except for a wolf.
It's a weird thing.
There are those like wild dogs in Russia that have like learned to ride the train.
Yeah, I like that though. That's tight. Be like, all right, I'm getting off at 6. That's what.
Me back here later. We'll say when the sun is at its highest place in the sky.
All right, wait, Lang. Are you like now we've talked about your shoes, but like, are you someone who considers themselves nostalgia heavy? Like you are a very successful young black king. Now, with all this money that's coming in, you're, just for those of you that don't know, here's Langston's home address, and he has $4 million cash in a safe. He lives on 4322 La Brea. Now, you have all that money in your house, and it's just, people can come in and get it whenever they want.
Sure.
Are you using any of that money to like, are you someone who like makes up for childhood? Are you like, Isaiah earlier was talking about like a starter jacket? Is there anything that has a particular piece, like a particular nostalgic hold on you that you're like, as an adult, I need to get this. I want this. I haven't yet.
I do think it's less about like particular items and more about like being a little more frivolous with my money than I was able to be as a kid. My dad it was like a super cheap guy, and so there was a spot called Venture in Chicago, which essentially was Kmart but in black and white. Like their emblem was entirely black and white, and it was a V with like zebra stripes and shit. And that's where he would take me to buy all my clothes, all my shoes until a certain point. And so now it took years for me to uncook that, like, oh, some $300 dunks is not gonna destroy my house and home, that I can afford that and be happy. So like it's more of just like letting loose when I see something I like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What is the last let loose?
Oh, I'm not proud of this at all. Yesterday, I bought a Coors Light sweatshirt.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
I was like, this is fucking cool, and I really like it. And it was like $100. I'm buying this Coors Light sweatshirt.
Okay. What is the last like retro? What was the last piece of like nostalgia? And it doesn't necessarily have to be like sneakers, but like, is there like a fit thing you bought? Is there like a collectible that you bought from your childhood, a comic book, a card, whatever, like something that you're like, I never got the chance to buy this because my dad made us shop in garbage bags that were left outside of the mall. Is there anything in particular that is like, is there something out there still, would you say?
Yeah, I think I have a better answer to that. I desperately as a child wanted those Grant Hill the Fila joints that he had, and I'm going to get some. I desperately want them. I wanted them as a child. I was told it was impossible, and I still love them. I think they're still so cool.
They're restocking those. They're coming out again. Yeah, they're coming out again.
For his anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a shot.
Yeah, they're coming out at the end of this year, I believe.
For him and Tamia's anniversary, they're going to restock.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, this has nothing to do with basketball. We're just so in love.
Fila nostalgia it's something. Fila's coming back hard. You know?
Yeah.
Fila's coming back real hard. It's kind of cool to see because for the longest time, people are just into the actual massive brand of it all. And if it wasn't Off-White, if it wasn't a Yeezy 350 that was older, or even like a Yeezy Nike, people weren't messing with it.
Yeah.
But now I feel like it's that weird thing where, like, you know, when bell bottoms were back when we were kids, like this is our Fila is our bell bottoms. You know?
I will say this, you know, me and Langston live near each other in LA. Again, his address is 4322 La Brea. He has $4 million cash in his house. You can go in there.
And I leave the safe open.
He leaves the safe open. He has no weapons, and he's small.
A small dog as well. Like, if anything, there's going to be a small dog.
A small dog that relies on him. So just go on in there and take what you want. I say all that to say, LA and New York styles, you know, we're in New York right now, are just so vastly different right now. Like in New York, and I don't know why it makes me laugh, but I've seen 7 dudes wearing platform Fila disruptors.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Just rocking them. And I was like, this. And look, I hope it doesn't come off as anti-woke, but I was like, you do look like the Spice Girls manager or something. Like, why? Like, that's just a crazy look. Because the thing is, like, I like when dudes just go nuts and have like very thin sunglasses and like no shirt and a vest and like, it's like just like a regular dude wearing like a basketball jersey and then like very baggy like matching shorts and then just Fila platform disruptors.
I do think that's sort of the wild thing with like fashion and style is that like we're all picking up items, right? But it doesn't mean that somebody teaches you how to use said item. It's not You're just putting,
Right.
so you saw a Playboy Cardi video. He had on platform shoes, and you were like, "I'm gonna wear some platform shoes too." But you still have on like Gerbo jeans, and it's not.
Yeah.
The vibe is off, bro. Like, where we at?
It is funny. It's just like see a banker like in a full J. Crew fit, and then just some beautiful platform Fila disruptors.
That's what's up.
Yeah. All right, now Lang, we're gonna have to wrap this up. You've already said your major purchase was the Coors Light sweatshirt.
Yes.
But the thing that you haven't done yet was remind us. Oh, the Grant Hills. That's
Grant
right.
Hills. Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything else on the market right now that you're just into? Is there a particular retro dunk? I know you don't like Jordans. You hate them. As a matter of fact, you said earlier that you wish you could punch Michael Jordan in the face. You were very active.
Listen, not a fan, but fuck them kids. I love that phrase. You know, if we can bring that back.
You can hate the man but love the message.
Hey, he's a poet. The man's a poet. I really love that low top dunks are sort of like back being the wave, and so I just bought some of those UNLV joints.
Ooh.
And I love those, and I want to get some of the Michigan State ones. I think those are super hard.
Yeah, because you're just you just no matter what, you just love college. Like you.
Goddamn, I love college.
Oh man, I wish I could just go back. You're like Asher Roth. You're like a white Asher Roth.
Asher Roth. Good morning, Asher Roth. Yeah, your name's on the internet today. Yeah. Congratulations. He hasn't heard that in a while.
He cuts Asher Roth like eating a plain yogurt, just being like, "What?
Somebody's talking about me?"
Yeah.
I imagine him popping out of bed that's covered in a bunch of demo CDs. And they scatter. He hears his name. He pops up, and they scatter.
Crying and they're clanging everywhere. Interesting. So he has CDs. He doesn't just upload it to.
No. He's Asher Roth's the CD guy.
Oh, okay.
Y'all know Asher Roth.
Yeah. Y'all know Asher Roth like the way I know Asher Roth. All right, Langston. We gave you so many of your credits up top. Is there anything else that you want to log out with in particular?
No, you guys. What a wonderful introduction. And yeah, listen to my podcast. My Mama Told Me. It comes out every Tuesday on, I don't know, iHeart and big money players. That's what they tell me. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Just listen to it on the internet, you idiots.
Yeah. Just Google Langston, go to his comments on Instagram, let him know what you think about his looks. And I would say, yeah. And then follow his wife. Make sure that you
follow my wife, please.
Yeah, follow his wife on Instagram. Be like,
send her some messages.
I came here for the Lang content, stuff like that. Things that she would appreciate. You know. Tell her that Langston is carrying their relationship. Things that a partner loves to hear. All right. Thanks so much, Lang. For real. Thanks for real, man.
You're great.
By.
This was fun, man.
We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to StockX, the only live marketplace for what's now and next. From the most historic heat to the latest instant classics, StockX specializes in giving everyone access to what they want and love.
With StockX, you have the power to shop millions of hard-to-find or sold-out products at their true market value.
And thanks to StockX's live marketplace, you have the ability to instantly shop the latest and greatest.
Download the app or sign up online to start buying and selling in a few easy clicks.
That's right. You can use the code HISTORYHEAT for free shipping on your first purchase of any order of $240 or more.
Start shopping at StockX.com. Access the now.
In talking about nostalgia and talking about heat and the heat of nostalgia, we kind of want to dig into this through the lens of not just sneakers now, but sneakers then. So we've actually brought in, Isaiah, a very special guest. Can you believe I pulled this off, me alone by myself? Can you believe who I'm about to introduce?
I don't think anybody believes that you did it by yourself.
I did. I absolutely did. It was actually only me. I showed up to his house at 3 a.m. and I kicked down his door and I said, you come be on our podcast. And he said, hey, man, who are you? And I said, my name is Yassir Lester. I'm hosting a podcast with my brother. Would you like to be on it? And he said, yes. Everyone, here is StockX's Jesse Einhorn.
Hey, nice to meet you guys. Good to be here. Good to be here.
What's up, Big J? How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good. It's good to be in the studio with you guys.
In the, some will call it the dungeon.
Yes, the Williamsburg Headgum dungeon.
Not us, but go ahead.
So this is the price of hype. This is a segment we'll do each week with our boy Jesse. He's going to tell us what's really going on out there in the market and how it's kind of fluctuating and whatnot. First of all, I want to ask you, Jesse, what exactly does the senior economist at StockX do?
Yeah. So, I mean, I joined StockX in 2017, and my job basically is just look at the data all day and kind of just figure out what's going on in the market. Like some of these CNBC guys like Jim Cramer, the really aggressive people who yell at you about Tesla stock. I get to do that, but about sneakers and
cool.
cause figures and stuff, which is cool. It's a job that didn't really exist before. Obviously, they never talked about it on career day or anything, but it just kind of happened because we have this, big global market, and there actually is a lot of interesting stuff that happens. The data itself is really fascinating, and so there's always people interested in what's hot, what's not, what brands are blowing up, which ones are cooling down, and so I get to kind of be the person who at least looks at the numbers and in a really nerdy way, tries to quantify that.
Well, okay, so for the sake of argument, we're discussing nostalgia.
Yeah.
So I want to get into something that I definitely affects prices because we've seen it before. But when a shoe is retroed and or re-released, right? We'll say a Jordan 1 Chicago or a more interesting thing like a Jordan 11 Space Jam, right? You have the OG, but then when they retroed them, they actually changed the shoe a little bit. How in both cases, when they when they retro a bread, but they change something on the tongue, how much does that affect the price of the original, or just one restock before that for a Space Jam? Does it plummet things? Does it raise the prices?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, right? Because these sneakers are often indistinguishable, and yet people seem to really care about these original details. I mean, a really clear example is the Jordan 3 black cement when they changed the logo, when they went from the Nike Air, the Jumpman, or when they went to Jumpman back to Nike Air, and the Nike Air, which I believe is the original, right? That is considered the real logo, and that Black Cement 3 is trades in much higher quantity than any other of these Jordan 3 Black Cements that we have. It's one of the most popular sneakers in history, and it's these little details really matter. Or the Space Jam, obviously, is we were looking recently at Jordan 11 premiums, which Jordan 11 colorways have the highest price premiums, and the Space Jam has by far the highest price premium, which means it sells for the most above retail, which is again sort of how much people care about these tiny little details from the 90s. And what's kind of crazy about it is that the kids that shop on StockX, if you look at our demographic data, it's the majority of kids that shop on StockX are under the age of 25. They're very young.
Yeah. God,
and they weren't
killing me.
they weren't around when Jordan played. So it's why do they care so much about these details? It's this, I don't know. It's honestly kind of an open question. I don't know if you guys have any theories.
It's if somebody were to have a classic vintage 1964 Mustang, and then somebody had a version of it that was practically the same but a little different.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people who are even under 25 that would want the classic Mustang, because at the end of the day, it's there is the OG, and then there's one that is not. And if you're a sneakerhead, then you understand what kind of impact being an OG colorway has.
Yeah,
and I think it's just a little bit. If anything, it's good for them because they understand the history of the shoe. And I think that's what it comes back to. But it is funny. I did not know that. Because again, mine is all tied to nostalgia, and whether it was the Kobe Grinch from, what was it, 2016, or the Kobe Grinch from last year. I wanted a pair of Grinches. I didn't really care if it was OG or not.
Yeah.
But there are people who very much do.
Yeah.
And I think the idea of especially as somebody who's never seen Jordan play, being like, no, I got to get these. The 45 on the back, I don't like the 45 on the back. I want the 23 on the back.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I only fuck with OG colorways because like I don't want to, you know.
Right.
I don't want to wear anything that Jordan himself didn't wear on the court.
Right, exactly. That's the wild part of it.
I think there's also like, I mean, I do think there's probably like something to be said for just this mediated nostalgia too, where it's like the kids, maybe they weren't around when Jordan hit that shot or whatever, but they watched it on YouTube. Or like I was watching George of the Jungle the other day, which kind of randomly. And that movie came out in the 90s, but I'm sure there were kids who watched it, whatever. Like there are 20-year-olds now who watched it,
right?
When they were 8 or 9, just like 10 years ago. And when he puts on those like up tempos, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like Brendan Fraser puts on these up tempos and he like, just like runs to save the girl, Leslie Mann.
Right.
And it's like, some kid somewhere probably watched that movie even 10 years ago. And for them, that sneaker is iconic and has this like nostalgic,
right.
They have this connection to it, even though they weren't there when it actually released or when the movie released. In the same way, like they watched Jordan clips on YouTube or like they just remember the first time they saw Jordan hit that shot, even if it wasn't in real time. So like, there's probably something to that too, where like there's certain like cultural artifacts, just like they just like recur throughout time and they like hit the same, they like each successive generation has the same kind of experience with it, and it imprints their soul in the way that it imprinted our soul in the 90s, and then they have to have that product, right? Like they see it and they're like, oh, I remember like watching that, and now I have to have it, and that generates heat.
Yeah, that's very true. It's like it's funny because they came out with this Do the Right Thing Jordan 4s. And I was just in Soho walking around and I saw a kid who looked like he was 13 wearing them.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're wearing shoes from the Spike Lee movie, Do the Right Thing, that you weren't even close to being alive for. Yeah. But it is like you said, it's like watching those clips and the accessibility to those clips and all that footage and being like, oh, when he hit the shot, he was wearing these shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or when he made this dirty dunk, or like even now, like I can remember always wanting shattered backboards, but now you can see the clips of him playing in that tournament in Italy,
right?
Which I'd never seen before.
Right.
I just wanted the shoe.
Which honestly, like maybe it's even a stronger connection now because it's like I don't remember when I watched those shitty 90 broadcasts, like I couldn't see anything.
Right.
Like, it was I mean, I'm dating myself, but I did watch them in real time, and it was like it wasn't like I could see every detail of the shoe. I certainly couldn't see what logo was on the back of the, you know what I mean? Like the really small details. So like maybe, I don't know, maybe the kids now who are 20 who are having that experience on YouTube have an even more like authentic and real connection to those things because they can watch in high def.
Right.
Who's to say?
That is so funny.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've taken a philosophical
I also
turn.
think just like really quick and then we'll move on. But like, I just think that the brand itself has just become a ubiquitous thing in the same way that like this sounds maybe too corny or too whatever luxurious, but it's like the way that like people want an OG brown and tan Louis Vuitton bag versus like one of the spring colors, like what I'm saying? It's like you don't even like with Jordan in particular, it's like it's so steeped in culture that like everyone kind of knows like black, white, and red means Chicago Bulls means Jordan OG. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's a little bit of a different thing. But like, now say all that to say, like, what do you think? Do you have any predictions just from like looking at the trends on the app, like of any brands making a comeback or any styles making a comeback outside of like, I don't know, like women are wearing like low-rise jeans again, but like for like just the consumer, like, is there anything you're like, yo, you may want to be on the lookout for this?
I think another interesting one, in terms of like what's going to be hot is like trading cards. I know you mentioned before.
Yes.
Trading cards. And I'm fascinated by this because it was like I grew up in like small town in Maine. And there was like one traffic light, 5,000 people. And this was in the 90s. And there were 3 hobby shops, 3 trading card stores. Like trading cards were that big in the 90s. Wild. And then they just disappeared.
Yes.
Right. They completely disappeared. And there's like a lot of stories around that. And we can get into that maybe in another episode. But the point is like they were gone and now they're kind of coming back. And it's like super exciting to me because this was something I was like obsessed with when I was a kid. And then it kind of like just disappeared from my life for 20 years. And now they're kind of back. And so I think, this year is going to be big for trading cards. We recently added them to StockX. So You can buy wax. You can buy single cards. You can buy Pokemon cards if that's what you're into, Magic the Gathering, whatever. But these trading cards, I think that's another thing that's just going to like continue to blow up. It already has, and it's becoming a bigger part of the culture. And it'll be interesting to see if it reaches the kind of cultural relevance of, say, sneakers. Like you're already seeing a lot of the same people, like, you know, it's like whether it's like Steve Aoki or Justin Bieber, like the people that, you know, the sneakerhead influencers are also becoming trading card influencers. And so that'll be another interesting one. And I think that's going to be like a big nostalgia play going forward.
Yeah, because doesn't like Logan Paul wear like a very expensive Pokemon card around his neck?
Yeah.
I do low-key think that's a cool flex.
I thought it was a cool flex as well.
It was.
Yeah. It was a cool, like I did, like I'm not a Logan Paul guy.
Yeah.
But when he did that, I was like, oh, that's cool. That is flexing some heat in a way that I've not really seen before.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because my friend a couple years ago was like super into it. And I remember last year he was freaking out because he goes, I got Shohei Ohtani's rookie card. And I was just like, oh, that's cool. And then now it's like worth an insane amount of money because Shohei Ohtani is the man.
Right.
And I started getting into it. I bought a Trey Lance rookie card pretty recently. I was so excited that I showed our friend Robbie Slowick's wife, Casey, at breakfast. He's also a big 49ers fan, but I'm into it. I'm not all in like I am on sneakers yet.
Yeah.
But it's become, again, like you said, it's a nostalgia thing for me where I'm like, if I can get somebody's rookie card, if I can get an old Ken Griffey Jr. card, you see a lot of companies too, like Undefeated, the Hundreds. There are all sorts of companies collabing and making these cards now, which I just think is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah. I'm into it too. It's like, I think like that kind of history. I mean, trading cards go back as far as sneakers. I mean, they start in the literally 19th century. Like they put them in packs of cigarettes and they start putting them in bubble gum. They're like a rich part of our history. And like personally, I mean, you know, no shade to NFTs and all this kind of newfangled collectibles, but like, I just think it's kind of cool if our culture continues to value and covet these things that have been around for a long time. It's like there's not a lot of our history that we hold on to, right? Like, you know, consumerism and capitalism like washes a lot of that away. But like the fact that these like, you know, little pieces of cardboard, which were relevant to, you know, people 150 years ago are still relevant now. I don't know. I think that's just kind of cool on
awesome.
Like a social level.
NFT, newfangled trading.
You heard it here first. All right, so we are going to do a little lightning round here. We're going to turn the tables. I'm going to be asking you questions. So a little role reversal for you guys. And
like when I go to court.
Ooh, exactly.
It's kind of like court.
Talking about nostalgia, we've been talking about sneakers. We've been talking about, you know, how big this market is. The first question. So how many Gen Zers would you say, let's say Gen Z men, self-identify as sneakerheads today? And that means that they have at least 8 pairs of sneakers and they will buy another 8 pairs in the year to come.
I'm going to say 35.
Self-identify as a sneakerhead. I feel like I'm gonna go like 80%.
Close. Isaiah wins that round easily. It's like 32%.
What?
32%, which is honestly pretty high.
It is high. That's a lot of people.
The term sneakerhead, when like, you know, when it was like Mars Blackman, like just like a few decades ago, no one was a sneakerhead.
Right.
It was like, you know, it was like being like into like punk rock or something.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
So I think 32 is still pretty impressive. How many, just really quick, like how many do you think, how many women in Gen Z self-identify as sneakerheads? Because that was just the men.
That's just dudes. That was just dudes.
20%?
Okay.
Damn, you were really good at this. Yeah, 22%. You're always off by like 2%, which is kind of interesting.
I have my finger on the pulse.
Okay. Okay,
everything.
You're just talking to Gen Zers all day?
Always talking to Gen
Zers.
Asking Gen Zers.
Yeah. Hey, are you a sneakerhead?
Man on the street. Okay, so this is
Get out
more
of my
like
school, sir.
We're a sneaker question. We were talking earlier about how, you know, like people are obsessed with OG colorways and OG sneakers and how much they're willing to pay. So how much would you say an OG Jordan 1 Chicago on StockX is going for? Now, this isn't like a game worn, like, you know, autograph sneaker. This is just like the sneaker that released in 1985. How much is it going for right now?
You know what? I'll say $50,000. I'll say $50,000.
Okay.
I'll say 12 grand.
Interesting. Right between you guys, it's $25,000.
Oh man.
Oh,
But here's an interesting question: what was it going for before The Last Dance? Like, what was the last sale before The Last Dance? Which was the ESPN Dutch.
Interesting.
Which is like, how much has it gone up?
See, then I would go with Zaya's. Then I would go the 12.
I was gonna say 9.
So this is what's wild, man. $3,000.
What?
It went from $3,000.
What?
Yes. On StockX, it went from $3,000.
It's just funny because it's like before the documentary, people didn't remember that he was a basketball player, that he was the best basketball player ever to live. It's just crazy. Like, oh yeah, Jordan, I remember that guy.
I mean, it's like, first of all, let's all acknowledge that $3,000 is a lot for a sneaker, but it is pretty wild that it went up, like almost 10x because of this documentary.
Right. Again, in relation to like looking at Travis Scott dunks, which I feel like, or even just like the Fragment 1 lows that he did, I feel like those are like $1,700 now or something crazy. So it's like, that doesn't, like, 3,000 feels, while I'm not saying that it's not a lot of money, of course it is, but relative to what things go for that are new, you know what I'm saying, that really have no other legacy. Yeah. $3,000 for a piece of history. That's like being like, oh yeah, you can get a piece of the Constitution for like, I don't know, $40. You'd be like, what? The Constitution? Like, yeah, it means nothing.
We also sell the Constitution on StockX. So check it out. It's in the Constitution section.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
The historical documents category page. All right. So also in this theme of nostalgia, we've recently added like Lego sets to StockX. You probably guys don't know this because you're not as deep in the weeds. You don't work there like I do every day. But Lego sets are now on the platform. What's the most people pay for Lego sets, do you think?
Oh man, I feel like here's my thing. I'm gonna get so specific with this, but I feel like there are like Harry Potter Lego sets that adults would pay a lot of money for, like Harry Potter adults. So I'm gonna say like I'm gonna go $2,000.
Okay. See,
for a Harry Potter Lego set.
We're on the same wavelength because I was like, I'm sure there's like a Millennium Falcon set or something Star Wars of the like, or again, very specific to a film franchise or something, right? Yeah. So, yeah, maybe like a weird Transformer Optimus Prime thing that you can build. You said 2, Zaya? 2K?
I said 2K.
Actually, I'm going to go $3,000. I feel like someone would be willing to pay $3,000.
All right, both a little bit over. It's $1,350 right now. We got a $1,350. That's the lowest ask, at least.
What
and
is
there was
it?
There was one that went for $1,200, but right now the lowest ask is $1,350. It's a Lego Creator Imperial flagship set. It's like a boat.
Oh,
yeah, people love this boat.
I heard Imperial and I was like, Star Wars. All right.
No, it's actually not. It's not Star Wars.
That's pretty surprising.
The Star Wars is the third most expensive, that Destroyer set. And then there's a Pirates of the Caribbean that's at like $1,100 right now.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
So that's another big one too.
People love their Pirates of the Caribbean. Before we wrap all this up, Isaiah Lester, my brother, what do you think? We've been talking about nostalgia mostly. Jesse hit on, some forecasting in terms of trading cards. Do you see anything in the future in terms of what's going to be hitting in terms of heat?
Heat, just heat in general.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's like they're the usual suspects in my opinion. Like Travis Scott, he's coming out with a Air Max 1, I believe in December. I think that's going to go crazy. The Supreme, there's going to be another Supreme collab. I think they're Jordans this time, but they have kind of the same look and vibe as the SB Dunks, which I am desperate to get my hands on. That green pair of Dunks.
Yeah.
I see those two things being, in terms of shoes, being absolutely massive. I think some retro LeBrons as well. I know LeBron, I believe the 8s are coming back hard. Those always do well on the market. I think those kind of shoes, they're going to do better than his actual new shoes. That's a whole different topic for a whole different day.
Oh my God.
Woo, those are bad.
Woo,
but I think in terms of shoes and sneakers, that's what I can see really coming back, or not coming back, but like upcoming, being very coveted.
Would
be those. And also those Sakai, another pair I love is the Sakai Waffle Cause collab. That is yet to drop. Those are just beautiful shoes.
Yeah. I weirdly, even though it's so ubiquitous right now culturally, I think that like I would tell people, and I can't remember, Jesse, if StockX, are they, do you guys deal in comic books yet or no?
Yeah, we do actually.
Okay. Like that is what I'm telling everyone to start putting their money into. It's weirdly because the film industry of it has gotten so big that people are really searching out the source
stuff again. Yeah.
So like I would say, and get the things that aren't out yet. Like there hasn't been an X-Men movie in a while. Get some X-Men stuff before it drops. Right now there's a new Batman coming out. Get a you know what I'm saying? Like get the
Batman
things.
Looks hard.
Yeah. Also get the things that are important to you clearly, but like if you're in it for the money, which everyone is in some way.
I mean, I don't know if I can say this, but I would invest in some Armor War comic books because I think whatever's coming out with Armor Wars is going to be huge.
Look out for some Armor Wars stuff. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening to the inaugural, very first episode of History of Heat. We want to thank our guest, Jesse Einhorn, our best friend, Langston Kerman, third best friend. Again, his address is 4322 La Brea. You can just walk into his house, take whatever you want. I want to thank my host with the most, Isaiah Lester.
I'd like to thank you, man. Thanks for making the trip.
Hey.
Thanks for making the trip.
Hey, man. Thanks so much, man. All right. We'll catch you guys next time, which is not the Thursday coming up, but the Thursday after that. And then it'll be every other Thursday.
Every other Thursday.
Just because we like to keep you on your toes. That's Chris Rock saying it. Keep you on your toes. Keep it. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Was a Headgum original.